Imagine drifting into sleep while the universe itself whispers a story. Tonight, that story begins far beyond our solar system, in the deep silence between stars. Out there, among the coldest shadows, a traveler has been wandering for millions, maybe billions of years. A fragment of ice, dust, and memory. A comet born beneath a different sun. A stranger to us, yet carrying echoes of another world. Astronomers call it Three-Eye Atlas, but to us it is something far softer. A visitor, a messenger, a fleeting guest in our night sky. This comet is no ordinary wanderer. It did not grow up in the family of planets that circle our star. It comes from elsewhere, another neighborhood in the vast cosmic city. And it has slipped quietly into ours, curving past the warmth of our sun, glowing briefly, and then vanishing again into the dark. As you lie back and let your mind settle, think of Three-Eye Atlas as a lullaby from another star system, a reminder that the universe is not empty, but alive with journeys we can barely imagine. Tonight, let us follow its path slowly, gently, until you feel yourself drifting right alongside it. When we talk about visitors, our minds usually drift toward people arriving at our doorstep, friends, family, unexpected guests. But the universe has its own visitors. They don't knock, they don't announce themselves, they simply drift in quietly, from distances so vast we can barely imagine. Among the most mysterious of these are interstellar visitors. That word, interstellar, means between the stars. Already it feels different, doesn't it? Not just something from our own solar system, but a traveler from elsewhere. For most of human history, every comet we ever saw was family. They were born from our solar system's own cold reservoirs, the icy Oort cloud or the Kuiper belt. Imagine them as distant cousins, strange, yes, but still of our bloodline. Their paths, their chemistry, their ice and dust, all familiar in some cosmic way. Then one evening in 2017, something happened that shook our sense of belonging. A strange object swept through our solar system, moving too fast, at too steep an angle to ever be from here. It was called Oumuamua, the first interstellar visitor we ever confirmed. The world paused. Scientists leaned closer. If one could arrive, more would follow. The door between the stars wasn't locked, it was open. Now Three-Eye Atlas is here. The third confirmed interstellar visitor, but unlike the rocky and puzzling Oumuamua, Three-Eye Atlas is more like the comets we know, icy, glowing, wearing a shimmering tail. Still, there's a difference, an almost haunting difference. This one carries the signature of another star system. The molecules frozen inside it were not formed near our sun. They were forged in the chemistry of a different cosmic nursery, under another star's warmth, perhaps before Earth was even born. Picture it, a comet forming around a young, bright star somewhere far away. Planets circling that star, moons tugging on one another, maybe even life stirring on one of those worlds. And in the background, this tiny comet is born, just a ball of frozen dust. At some point, something nudged it, a planet's gravity, a stellar wind, a passing star. Whatever it was, the push was strong enough to throw it out of its home forever. No orbit, no return, just an exile to the great dark between stars. And so for millions upon millions of years, it drifts. No warmth, no light, nothing but the endless black. Until suddenly, one day, it approaches our sun. Imagine the silence of that journey, and then the surprise of meeting another star. From our point of view, it looks like magic, a glowing traveler sweeping into our sky. But in truth, it is the simple destiny of physics. Gravity bends its path, sunlight awakens its ice, a tail of vapor and dust unfurls. Think about what that means. Most comets we see are predictable, we track them. We know they'll return in decades or centuries. Halley's Comet, for example, is like a clock. You can set your watch by it. But an interstellar visitor is different. They pass once, only once, then vanish forever. They don't belong to us. They never did. Their visit is fleeting, and that fleetingness makes them precious. And here is something even more mysterious. These interstellar visitors are not rare. Astronomers believe that our galaxy is filled with them. Thousands, maybe millions of wandering fragments tossed out of star systems, drifting endlessly. But they are so faint, so small, that only the lucky ones are spotted. When they glow near a star, they reveal themselves. For a moment, they are seen. And then, like a dream upon waking, they are gone. Why does this matter? Because interstellar comets like 3I Atlas are clues. They are samples delivered to our doorstep from other solar systems. Without traveling billions of kilometers, without sending spacecraft beyond our sun, we get a taste, just a taste, of alien chemistry. Every speck of dust inside them is a story written in another corner of the galaxy. Perhaps they even carry ingredients of life, amino acids, organic molecules, frozen in their icy hearts. Could it be that life, in some cosmic way, spreads like this? Through exiles wandering the dark, seeding possibility wherever they land? It's a thought that is both scientific and poetic. We don't know for certain, but we know enough to keep watching. We know enough to whisper to ourselves as we fall asleep. The universe is alive with travelers. And so when we speak of interstellar visitors, we are not just speaking of objects of ice and rock. We are speaking of time capsules, of messages, of guests who bring news from suns we will never see, guests who stay only briefly, then vanish back into eternity. And that is what 3I Atlas is, a messenger, a fleeting visitor, a reminder that beyond our sky, beyond our sun, there are other stories still unfolding. And every so often, one of those stories drifts close enough for us to glimpse before it is gone. Every great journey into the unknown begins with a moment of recognition, a spark of awareness. For 3I Atlas, that spark was lit, not in the comet itself, but in the eyes of the astronomers who first noticed it. Picture a cold night, a telescope dome opening under a quilt of stars. Somewhere in that silence, light from a visitor that had traveled for millions of years was about to touch human eyes for the very first time. The discovery was made by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS for short, a telescope network in Hawaii designed to scan the skies for anything that might wander too close to Earth. Ironically, its mission was to detect danger, asteroids that could collide with our planet. Instead, it became a greeter of cosmic guests. On a routine night in late 2019, Atlas picked up a faint streak of light. To most, it would have looked like nothing, just another speck lost among the thousands of stars. But astronomers are trained to notice the subtle differences, how something moves just slightly out of rhythm with the background stars, how its speed whispers that it is not bound by our sun's embrace. They watched closely. The numbers came in. At first, it looked like an ordinary comet, one of the countless icy travelers that dip toward the sun, glow for a while, and then swing back to the outer reaches. But soon, something unusual revealed itself. Its trajectory was hyperbolic. That word matters. Hyperbolic paths mean freedom. It wasn't looping back like a boomerang. It was simply passing through. Imagine the excitement in the observatories. Astronomers comparing notes across continents. Computers humming as orbital paths were refined. At last, confirmation. This was not from here. This was interstellar. The news spread through the astronomy community like a soft electric pulse. A second interstellar visitor had arrived after Oumuamua, and soon it was given a name, 3I Atlas. The 3i means third interstellar object ever confirmed. Each number in that sequence is historic. It means that in all the centuries of stargazing, humanity had only just begun noticing these travelers. Think about how astonishing that is. The universe has always been filled with these wanderers. They have been passing through for billions of years, unnoticed. Civilizations rose and fell on Earth. Ancient Egypt, the Mayans, the Han Dynasty, while interstellar comets drifted silently overhead, never seen. Only now, with our telescopes and patient eyes, are we beginning to realize they've been there all along. There's something almost humbling about that. For all our science and technology, we are still just children peeking through a keyhole into the vastness beyond. Every detection is a tiny widening of that keyhole. Every discovery is another voice whispering, "You are not alone in this galaxy." But beyond the science, imagine the human side of discovery. An astronomer sitting alone in the glow of computer screens, watching dots shift against the backdrop of stars. The realization building, this dot is moving differently. It is too fast, its path too steep, the heart beats faster, notes are scribbled, calls are made, data is checked again and again because discoveries like this cannot be rushed. And finally, the quiet smile, the deep breath, the understanding. We have found another traveler from beyond our sun. Discovery at its core is not just about science, it's about wonder, the same wonder that must have filled the hearts of the first humans who looked up and traced comets across the night sky. To them, comets were omens, mystical visitors, sometimes feared, sometimes celebrated. They didn't know about interstellar origins or hyperbolic trajectories, but they felt the same awe. They knew they were in the presence of something rare. And here we are, thousands of years later, with the same awe, just in a new form. Instead of stories by firelight, we share press releases and telescope images. Instead of shamans, we have scientists. But the emotion is timeless. The thrill of recognizing that the universe has sent us something unexpected. There's another layer to this story. Atlas was designed to warn us of dangers, but in this case it introduced us to a visitor who posed no threat at all. Just beauty. There's poetry in that. A system built to guard against fear ends up delivering wonder. So 3i Atlas entered our awareness, a faint smudge of light. A set of numbers describing its orbit, a confirmation that it came from beyond. And suddenly, the world of astronomy grew just a little larger, a little more connected to the galaxy outside. As you drift deeper into this story, let that sink in. For centuries, humanity dreamed of what might lie beyond the stars. Now, in quiet, subtle ways, pieces of those distant places are arriving here, drifting across our skies. Not spacecraft, not messages from civilizations, but simple, frozen travelers, comets, whose very presence says there is more, always more. And so the discovery of 3i Atlas is not just about finding a comet, it is about recognizing that we are part of a larger dance, that beyond the reach of our sun there are other families of worlds, other cradles of dust and ice, sending their fragments into the great unknown. And every so often, one finds us. When you look at a comet glowing faintly in the night sky, it can feel almost fragile, like a puff of light easily brushed away by the wind. But comets are ancient. They are among the oldest travelers in the cosmos. They remember things even planets have forgotten. And when it comes to 3i Atlas, this truth takes on an even deeper meaning, because this is not just a comet from our neighborhood, this is a comet born under another sun. Think about that for a moment. Every grain of dust inside it, every frozen crystal of water or methane was shaped in a star system we will never see. Somewhere far away, another sun rose over newborn worlds. Its light fell on rings of gas and dust swirling in great circles. And in those rings, tiny particles clumped together, sticking, colliding, freezing, until a comet was born. Not here, not in the cold halo around our own sun, but in the orbit of another star, a stranger across the galaxy. What star could it have been? We may never know. It could have been a small red dwarf, the most common kind in the galaxy, or perhaps a bright young blue star, burning furiously and short-lived. The truth is locked inside the comet's chemistry, the ratios of its ice, the types of molecules it carries. These are like fingerprints. They whisper secrets of the star nursery that shaped it. For astronomers, it's like finding a seashell washed up on shore and trying to guess which distant ocean it came from. But one thing is certain, this comet is unimaginably old. Long before humans took their first steps, long before Earth even cooled from its fiery birth, Atlas had already begun its exile. Something happened in its home system, a planet's gravity tugging it off balance, a close brush with another comet, maybe even a passing star disturbing its orbit. Whatever it was, the push was strong enough to eject it. And once a comet is thrown free, there is no turning back. Picture it drifting through interstellar space, no sunlight to warm its surface, no planets to pass, just silence. The stars around it moving slowly, like distant lanterns in a vast black ocean. Millions of years pass, perhaps billions. Civilizations rise and fall on distant planets while 3i Atlas glides on untouched. Imagine the loneliness of that journey. Yet in that loneliness there is endurance. It survives, carrying inside it the memory of another star's light. This idea of comets as cosmic castaways isn't just poetic, it is scientific. Our own solar system has likely lost countless comets over its long life. Some were nudged inward, crashing into planets. Others were pulled outward, slingshotted beyond the sun's reach, destined to wander forever. It's possible that somewhere out there, an alien astronomer has spotted one of our comets drifting through their sky and wondered the same things we wonder now about 3i Atlas. And here is a thought to hold gently. Maybe comets are the messengers of the galaxy. They are fragments of worlds carrying raw materials, drifting from star to star. Some scientists even suggest they might transport the ingredients for life itself, organic molecules, amino acids, frozen and preserved across eons. Could it be that life's seeds drift this way, scattered like pollen on the cosmic wind? When we look at 3i Atlas, we are not just looking at ice and dust. We are looking at possibility, at a memory of another world, at a journey so long and patient that human history is just a brief flicker in comparison. And yet, despite its age, despite its unimaginable distance traveled, it is fragile. When it approaches a star, when sunlight touches it, the ice begins to sublimate, turning to gas. A tail unfurls, beautiful, yes, but also fleeting. The comet gives itself away in order to be seen. In its glow is its unraveling. That is the paradox of comets. They shine brightest when they are dissolving. So when you gaze at 3i Atlas, or even just imagine it from the safety of your bed tonight, remember this. You are seeing a relic of another sun's story. A frozen exile older than Earth, glowing for a brief moment as it passes by. Soon it will vanish, and the silence of its long journey will continue. But in that moment, we are connected. Our sun warms it, our telescopes capture it, our imaginations cradle it. For a little while, its story and ours overlap. And maybe that is the deeper truth of these ancient origins. They remind us that we too are wanderers. The atoms in our bodies were forged in stars long gone. We carry their memory in us. 3i Atlas carries its star's memory in ice. Different journeys, but the same cosmic fabric. So let yourself drift into that thought slowly. Somewhere long ago under a foreign sun, a comet was born. Tonight, you are hearing its story. When we imagine a comet, most of us see the same picture, a glowing ball with a long, luminous tail stretching across the night sky. But the reality is subtler, stranger, and more beautiful than a simple sketch. Comets are not solid flames or streaks of light. They are fragile. They are ancient sculptures of ice and dust, shaped by physics and sunlight. And 3I Atlas, our interstellar visitor, is no different. At its heart lies the nucleus, the core of the comet. It is small, perhaps only a few kilometers wide, though exact measurements are difficult from Earth. Think of it as a frozen rock, dark and quiet, drifting for eons in silence. The nucleus itself is often so black, it reflects only a fraction of the sunlight that hits it, like a lump of coal drifting in space. If you could hold a piece in your hand, it would feel brittle, like compressed snow mixed with gravel. It would not look spectacular. The beauty of a comet doesn't come from its nucleus. It comes from what happens when sunlight touches it. As the comet drifts closer to a star, in this case our sun, the warmth awakens it. Ice buried deep inside begins to sublimate, turning directly into gas. Jets of vapor burst outward, carrying dust with them. Slowly, a coma forms, a glowing halo surrounding the nucleus. The coma can grow to be tens of thousands of kilometers wide, dwarfing the tiny heart inside. It's as if the comet suddenly dresses itself in light, announcing its presence. From the coma, sunlight and solar winds pull particles outward, creating tails. Yes, plural. Every comet has at least two. The ion tail, a stream of charged particles glowing faintly blue, points directly away from the sun, no matter where the comet is moving. Then there's the dust tail, made of heavier grains, curving behind in a graceful arc, shining pale white or yellow. Together they give the comet its iconic look. And though these tails can stretch for millions of kilometers, they are delicate, so thin that if you flew through them, you might not even notice. 3I Atlas would likely have displayed these same features as it brushed past our sun. Imagine, after millions of years in cold silence, suddenly feeling warmth, its surface cracking, its frozen veins releasing gases unseen for eons. For the first time since leaving its home star, it glows, not because it chose to, but because light makes it reveal itself. That is the paradox of comets. They spend most of their existence invisible, but when they shine, it is always fleeting. Astronomers study these structures carefully. By analyzing the light from a comet's coma or tail, they can identify the molecules inside: water, carbon dioxide, methane, organic compounds. Each one is a clue, a fingerprint from another star system. For 3I Atlas, this is especially precious. It is a sample from a place we will never visit. The way its tail bends, the way its coma glows, even the faint variations in its brightness, all of it is data, all of it a story. But there is more than science here. There is poetry in its appearance. Imagine standing outside on a cool evening, tilting your head back to the sky, and knowing that faint smudge of light is not from Earth, not from our sun, but from an exile of another system. The light reaching your eyes left the comet only minutes ago, but the comet itself has been traveling for ages. Its glow is fragile, like the reflection of a candle across water, yet its meaning is enormous, and there is something deeply human in the way comets look. The tail, always pointing away from the sun, is like a reminder of impermanence, always leaving, always fading. The nucleus, dark and hidden, is like the unseen self, holding memories too old to share. The coma, shining briefly, is like a soul illuminated by attention. Perhaps that is why comets have always moved us so deeply. We see ourselves in them, fleeting, fragile, yet capable of brilliance when touched by light. For 3I Atlas, its structure tells a story of endurance. Though it may crumble as it passes the sun, though pieces may break off and scatter, it has already survived what most objects never could. It left its home star, crossed the void, and made it here. To appear in our sky, even faintly, is an act of survival. And in that brief display, coma, tails, glowing dust, it reminds us that beauty often comes from vulnerability. So tonight, as you imagine this comet, don't think of it as a single frozen rock. Think of it as a living process, a heart of ice wrapped in a halo of vapor, trailing ribbons of stardust. A visitor who glows not for itself, but for us, because our sun makes it visible. And as it passes, its beauty is not just what we see, but what we feel. The reminder that the universe still carries secrets, softly across the dark. Every visitor has a route. Every traveler follows a path. For 3i Atlas, that path carried it from the unimaginable distances of interstellar space into the light of our sun, and then back into the dark. Its journey through our solar system was brief, but full of meaning, like the sweep of a brushstroke across a canvas. When astronomers first plotted its orbit, the numbers told a story. Unlike comets born in our solar system, 3i Atlas was not looping around the sun. Its trajectory was a hyperbola, a curve that comes close, bends, and then escapes forever. That word, forever, carries weight here. Most comets circle back after decades, centuries, even millennia. But interstellar comets are one-time guests. They arrive, they glow, and then they vanish, never to be seen again. Imagine the scene. 3i Atlas sliding silently into our system, crossing the orbit of Neptune, drifting inward toward the brighter planets. It doesn't belong to them. It isn't tied to their gravity. It is simply passing through like a bird flying over a garden that isn't its home. As it moves closer to the sun, its pace quickens. Gravity pulls at it, bends its course but cannot hold it. Like an arrow loosed into the sky, it keeps moving on. From Earth's perspective, we caught only a fleeting glimpse. For most of us, it wasn't bright enough to see with the naked eye. But with telescopes, it was there, a faint smudge of light, moving slightly each night against the backdrop of stars. For those who tracked it, there was a kind of reverence. To know you were watching something from another star system, something that would never return, was like reading a line in a book that exists only once. The path of 3i Atlas took it around the sun, where the heat awakened its icy heart. For a while, it glowed more strongly, releasing gas and dust, spreading a tail across space. Some astronomers thought it might brighten dramatically, perhaps even become visible without instruments, but comets are unpredictable. Just as quickly, it began to fragment, breaking into pieces, fading from view. It was as if the stress of its long exile, the sudden heat after endless cold, was too much. Its journey through our solar system became not only a visit, but also a kind of farewell. There's something deeply symbolic about that. The comet traveled for millions of years, only to shine briefly and then dissolve as it passed through our light. But perhaps that's what makes it precious. The fleetingness of beauty often deepens its impact. Knowing it won't last makes us look more closely, hold the image more gently, remember it more vividly. And in that brief time, 3i Atlas touched many places. It came close enough for Earth to study it, though not close enough to pose danger. It left traces in the data of telescopes around the world. It passed the orbits of planets that never knew it was there. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars all continued on their courses while this guest swept past. It reminds us how vast and indifferent the solar system can be. Planets and comets rarely interact, yet every so often, paths cross. One of the quiet wonders of orbital mechanics is that we can predict these paths with astonishing accuracy. With just a few nights of observations, astronomers could already tell 3I Atlas entered from the darkness, looped near the Sun, and would soon be gone. The mathematics of gravity drew the curve, and we read it like a map. It was humbling. To think that something born under another star could be tracked so carefully by eyes on Earth. And yet numbers cannot capture the feeling of its passage. Imagine lying on a hillside at night, knowing that above you, a comet from another system is arching across space. You might not see it with your eyes, you might never even find its faint blur in a telescope, but simply knowing it's there, that knowledge alone can stir something quiet and profound. When 3I Atlas completed its swing past the Sun, it began its departure. Its speed carried it outward, faster than any spacecraft we've built. Soon it passed the orbit of Mars, then Jupiter, then Saturn. Each step took it farther until at last it slipped beyond our reach. Its trajectory carried it back to interstellar space, where no sunlight will touch it for ages. Its glow faded, its fragments dispersed, its visit was over. But its path left a trace, not in the sky, but in us. It left behind a memory, a reminder that the galaxy is alive with travelers. Every so often, one crosses our sky, a messenger from another world. And if you close your eyes tonight, you might imagine yourself moving along that same path, drifting with 3I Atlas as it bends around the Sun and slips away, carrying secrets we will never fully know. That is its path, brief, unbound, eternal. When scientists looked at 3I Atlas, they weren't only seeing a faint smudge of light in the sky, they were holding a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Every interstellar visitor is a gift, carrying secrets locked away since the birth of another star system. And with each glimpse, each measurement, we learn not only about the comet itself, but also about the galaxy beyond. How do we learn from something so small and distant? The answer lies in light. Light is the language of the universe, and comets speak through it. When 3I Atlas drew close enough to the Sun, its ice began to vaporize, releasing gases into the coma. Sunlight passed through that cloud, and telescopes caught the spectrum, the faint fingerprints of molecules. To an astronomer, these fingerprints are like lines of poetry written in another tongue. Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon monoxide, cyanide, organics. All may leave their trace in the spectrum. By reading it, scientists can piece together a story of chemistry that began far from here. With 3I Atlas, researchers saw something familiar and yet profoundly strange. Much of its makeup resembled comets from our own solar system, frozen water, dust, simple carbon compounds. But there were subtle differences too, ratios of elements, tiny variations in molecules, patterns that whispered, "I was born elsewhere." That contrast is important. It means that the processes that formed our sun and planets are not unique. Across the galaxy, in star systems we will never see, the same chemistry unfolds. Dust becomes ice, ice becomes comets, and some of those comets are sent adrift. There is another lesson hidden here. Comets are time capsules. While planets evolve, change, and erase their early history, comets remain frozen archives. They carry the chemistry of the nursery where they were born. To study 3I Atlas is to hold a piece of a star's childhood preserved for billions of years. Imagine finding a message in a bottle that drifted not across an ocean, but across the stars. That is what scientists see when they point telescopes at an interstellar comet. Some researchers even ask a more daring question: could these visitors spread life? The idea is called panspermia, the thought that the ingredients for life, or even microscopic life itself, could travel across the galaxy on comets. If amino acids or organic molecules were found inside 3I Atlas, it would mean that the building blocks of life are not confined to Earth, or even to our solar system. They might be everywhere, waiting for the right conditions to awaken, Even without such bold theories, the science of 3I Atlas matters deeply. It provides a comparison. We can place its chemistry alongside our own comets and see the similarities and differences. Those differences are not just trivia. They are clues to how planetary systems form. By studying 3I Atlas, astronomers refine their models of star formation, of planetary disks, of the violent scattering that flings comets into exile. Each interstellar object is a data point in a cosmic experiment billions of years old. But the science is not only about molecules, it is also about motion. The speed of 3I Atlas, its path, the way it broke apart, all of these tell us about its structure. Why did it fragment so quickly? Perhaps its ices were weaker, less compact than local comets. Perhaps its long journey through interstellar space left it brittle, like glass exposed to endless cold. By watching it crumble, scientists learned how fragile interstellar comets may be. There is beauty in this fragility. Even in breaking, 3I Atlas gave us knowledge. Its fragments, scattering through space, reflected sunlight in new ways, allowing astronomers to study their size, their composition. Sometimes, what seems like loss is actually revelation. The comet did not fail in its visit. It revealed itself more completely by breaking apart. And here lies a quiet lesson. Science often learns the most from things that don't behave as expected. Astronomers had hoped 3I Atlas would blaze brightly in our skies, a beacon visible to anyone with the naked eye. Instead, it dimmed, shattered, and slipped away. Yet in that fading, it spoke more honestly of its nature. It reminded us that the universe does not perform for us. It simply is. And our task is to listen carefully, with patience, to what it offers. So, what did we learn from 3I Atlas? We learned that interstellar comets are not just fantasies, they are real, and they carry the same raw materials we find in our own backyard. We learned that the galaxy shares its ingredients, scattering them freely across the stars. We learned that beauty can be brief but still full of meaning. And perhaps most importantly, we learned that discovery is not about control, it is about wonder. The science of 3I Atlas will continue for years as researchers analyze the data, compare it with other comets, and refine their theories. But for you lying here tonight, what matters is not the graphs or equations. What matters is the simple truth. A fragment of another world passed by us, spoke in the language of light, and reminded us that the universe is larger and more connected than we can ever fully know. And as you drift towards sleep, let that knowledge settle gently. Somewhere out there, more comets are traveling. More stories are waiting. And someday, perhaps soon, another visitor will arrive, carrying secrets from another sun, ready to be read. When a traveler arrives, we often compare them to those who came before. It helps us understand them, to place them in a story that stretches back through time. And so it is with 3I Atlas. To know this comet, we place it side by side with the other great wanderers we have met. The strange, tumbling Oumuamua and the grand, glowing Hale-Bopp. Let us start with Oumuamua. In 2017, when it first swept through our solar system, it baffled us. Unlike 3I Atlas, it showed no tail, no glowing halo. It was dark, elongated, and moved with a peculiar spin. Some scientists called it a rock, others thought it might be a fragment of something larger. Its shape was unlike anything we had seen, perhaps cigar-like or maybe flat like a pancake. For a while the world buzzed with speculation. Could it even be an artificial object, sent by another civilization? The mystery lingers because Oumuamua revealed itself so briefly before vanishing. Now place 3I Atlas beside it. Unlike Oumuamua, this comet behaved more like the visitors we know, shedding gas, growing a tail, glowing softly as it passed the sun. It reminded us of home even as it carried the signature of another system. Where Oumuamua whispered riddles, Three-Eye Atlas spoke more clearly in the language of comets. It was a messenger, but one whose form we could recognize. And then there is Hale-Bopp. Some of you may remember it, in 1997, when it graced the skies for months, visible even in city lights. Hale-Bopp was not interstellar. It was a member of our own solar system's family. Yet it was so bright, so grand, that it captured the imagination of millions. People gathered in fields, on rooftops, in backyards, pointing in awe. Its twin tails stretched across the heavens like banners. It was, in many ways, the comet of a generation. Compared to Hale-Bopp, Three-Eye Atlas was faint, fleeting, almost shy. Most people never saw it with their own eyes. It never painted the sky with brilliant streaks, and yet, what it lacked in brightness, it made up for in rarity. Hale-Bopp will return one day on its long orbit. But Three-Eye Atlas will not. Its gift was not spectacle, but uniqueness. It was not a showpiece for the world, but a quiet reminder. Sometimes the most extraordinary things arrive without fanfare. This contrast teaches us something. Comets are not defined only by their appearance, but by their stories. Hale-Bopp told the story of beauty and endurance within our solar system. Oumuamua told the story of mystery, of how much we do not know. And Three-Eye Atlas told the story of exile and fragility, of a traveler from another sun who glowed briefly, then broke apart. Each story is different, yet all are woven together by the thread of wonder. Imagine, for a moment, placing them in a gallery. Oumuamua would hang like an abstract painting, dark, angular, confusing, leaving you with more questions than answers. Hale-Bopp would be a luminous mural, vivid and unforgettable. And Three-Eye Atlas would be a delicate sketch, faint but profound, its lines whispering of distance and loss. Together they form a portrait of the visitors we have known and the many more still to come. Scientists, too, find meaning in comparison. By setting Three-Eye Atlas against Oumuamua, they can ask, why did one glow and the other did not? By comparing it with Hale-Bopp, they can see what makes interstellar comets fragile, how their chemistry differs. Comparison is not about competition, it is about context. Each visitor adds to the library of knowledge. Each one gives us a new lens through which to view the galaxy. But beyond science, there is something human in this act of comparing. We compare not to measure worth, but to feel connection. Just as we look at faces in a crowd and notice how each one is unique, yet part of a shared humanity, so we look at comets and see in them both strangeness and kinship. They are different, yes, but they all belong to the great family of wanderers. So tonight, as you picture Three-Eye Atlas, let your mind wander across time. Remember Oumuamua, that silent enigma slipping away before we could understand it. Recall Hale-Bopp blazing across the skies, filling hearts with awe. And then imagine Three-Eye Atlas, faint, fragile, a guest from afar, here and gone in the blink of cosmic time. Each of them leaves an imprint like footsteps in the sand of the universe. Each reminds us that we are part of a larger story, one that stretches far beyond our sun. And perhaps that is the quietest lesson of all. We do not need to choose which comet is greater or brighter. They are each a note in a symphony. Oumuamua, Hale-Bopp, Three-Eye Atlas. They play different parts, but together they create a music that hums beneath the night sky. A music we are only just beginning to hear. Not everything in the sky needs to be measured to be understood. Sometimes it is enough to feel. And when Three-Eye Atlas slipped into our solar system, it wasn't just a scientific event, it was a poetic one. A moment that reminded us of what it means to live under a sky that still holds surprises. Think of it this way. Our sun has burned for over 4 billion years. Our Earth has spun, carrying oceans, mountains, forests, and cities. And in all that time, countless comets have circled around. They belong to us, bound by the sun's gravity, familiar, expected. But then something from beyond appeared, a fragment of another story, drifting close enough for us to see. Doesn't that feel like poetry? A reminder that we are part of something bigger, something that stretches beyond the horizon of our imagination. 3i Atlas was not spectacular in brightness. It did not dominate the skies like Hale-Bopp. It did not baffle us with strangeness like Oumuamua. But its quietness is part of its beauty, like a guest who arrives without announcement, shares a small story, and then leaves. Its presence felt deeper than its size. For those who looked at it through telescopes, there was a sense of privilege. To know you were witnessing a traveler from another star, that knowledge alone was enough to stir the heart. Poetry often lives in contrasts, and 3D Atlas was full of them. Ancient yet fleeting, small yet vast in meaning, fragile yet strong enough to have survived a journey across interstellar space. To look at it was to be reminded of our own lives, how we too are brief sparks in the grand darkness, glowing for a moment, carrying within us stories from long before we were born. In ancient times, comets were seen as omens. Kings feared them. Priests interpreted them. People believed they brought warnings of war, famine, or change. And though we no longer see them as divine portents, there is still something prophetic about them. A comet from another system says you are not isolated. It says, the universe is full of motion, full of exchange, full of visitors who may arrive when you least expect them. That truth is both humbling and comforting. And there's another layer to the poetry of 3i Atlas. Imagine its home system. Perhaps it circled a star once, long ago, before being cast out. Perhaps there were planets there, landscapes, maybe even seas. That star might still shine in the galaxy tonight, though we may never know which one. In a way, 3i Atlas is a letter from that star, a letter that drifted for ages, unread, until we glimpsed it. Even if we cannot decode every word, just knowing the letter exists is enough to remind us that we are not alone in the universe's story. Its visit also touches something personal. To see a comet like this is to feel time differently. Not human time, but cosmic time. It has traveled for millions of years, while our civilizations are only thousands of years old. Empires rose and fell. Languages were born and forgotten. Entire peoples lived their lives, all while this comet quietly made its way through the void. To stand beneath it, even for a moment, is to stand in awe of time itself. And yet, despite that enormity, 3i Atlas revealed its poetry in fragility. As it drew near to the sun, it began to break apart. It could not withstand the heat after so many ages in the cold. Some called it a disappointment, but perhaps that is the most beautiful part of its story. It reminds us that beauty is often fragile, and fragility does not erase meaning. If anything, it deepens it. Just as a flower is precious because it fades, so a comet's brief glow is precious because it will not return. So what, then, is the poetry of 3i Atlas's visit? It is not in the headlines it made or the data it provided. It is in the quiet thought that somewhere out there, more such visitors are wandering. It is in the realization that we are not just citizens of Earth or of our solar system, but of a galaxy alive with movement. It is in the comfort that even in the darkest stretches of space, a traveler carries light. And perhaps, as you drift toward sleep tonight, you can let that poetry soften you. Picture the comet's tail stretching faintly in the night, a silver thread weaving through darkness. Picture the nucleus, fragile but enduring. Picture its path, straight unreturning, yet full of grace. And know that this too is part of your story. Because the same universe that sent 3I Atlas into our sky also formed the atoms in your body. The same stardust flows through both. In the end, the poetry of its visit is simple, a reminder that we belong, not just here, on this planet, but to the galaxy, to the stars, to the vast unfolding story of creation. And sometimes the universe sends us a visitor to whisper that truth in light. For all the science, all the mathematics, and all the data, there is one simple truth about comets. They are meant to be looked at. They are not only objects of study, but experiences, moments where the universe leans closer and lets us see something from beyond. And with 3I Atlas, even though its glow was faint, the act of observing it became part of the story. Imagine it, a quiet evening on Earth. Somewhere on a rooftop in a crowded city, a small telescope waits. The hum of traffic drifts upward, but above it, the stars are steady. A person leans into the eyepiece, searching for a dot of light among thousands. At first, it seems impossible. Too many stars, too many distractions. But then there it is, a small smudge, no brighter than a faint star, but moving slightly each night. A visitor from another star system, captured by human eyes. In another place, perhaps a dark hillside far from the city, families gather with binoculars, children wrapped in blankets against the chill. They don't see much, maybe only a whisper of brightness. But when someone explains what it is, the children fall silent. A comet from another sun. The idea alone fills them with wonder. For the rest of their lives, they may not remember the shape or brightness, but they will remember the feeling. That night, they stood under the sky, watching a guest from beyond. Astronomers, of course, observed it with more precision. Large telescopes captured its faint coma, its fragmenting nucleus, the delicate tail unfolding in sunlight. Images were shared online where anyone could glimpse it on a glowing screen. For many, that was enough. The knowledge that they were looking at something interstellar made even a pixelated image profound. It wasn't about beauty, it was about connection. And then there were the dreamers, the poets, the storytellers, the ones who didn't need a telescope at all. They looked up at the night sky even without seeing the comet and simply imagined it. Out there, among the stars, a fragment from another system was passing by. That thought alone was enough to stir the imagination, enough to make them feel smaller and yet more deeply part of the cosmos. Observing 3I Atlas wasn't always about the eyes, sometimes it was about the heart. Knowing it was there, even unseen, was like knowing a ship from another land was sailing past your shore in the night. You might not see its sails, but you feel its presence. You sense that your world has been touched by something beyond. In this way, the comet reminded us that observation is not just about seeing, it is about witnessing, and anyone anywhere on Earth who lifted their eyes to the stars during those nights was, in a way, a witness. Even if they didn't recognize which dot of light it was, they were still standing under the same sky that held it. There's a quiet comfort in that thought. For centuries, comets have brought people together. Villages, cities, entire civilizations have stopped to look at the sky when a comet appeared. 3I Atlas was no different, though subtler. From professional astronomers in observatories to children with cheap binoculars to dreamers simply gazing upward, all were united for a moment in the act of looking. And if you imagine yourself there, lying on your back in the cool grass, wrapped in a blanket, the stars scattered above, you can feel that connection too. Somewhere above, 3I Atlas was moving, glowing faintly, leaving its brief mark on our sky. You might not have seen it clearly, but you shared the moment with countless others who tried. That is the gift of observing from Earth. It isn't only about what we see, but about what we share. The knowledge, the wonder, the quiet pause in our busy lives to look upward. In those moments, we are reminded that Earth itself is a small world, spinning under the same sky, touched by the same cosmic visitors. And though Three-Eye Atlas is gone now, the memory remains. For those who pointed their telescopes at it, there are images, data, notebooks full of observations. For those who looked up with their children, there are memories tucked away in their heart. And for those who simply imagined it, there is the comfort of knowing that the universe is not distant. It comes to us now and then in the form of a comet glowing softly above. So tonight, as you let your eyes close, picture yourself among them, an observer on Earth, part of a long tradition of humans who have always looked up. Picture the comet, faint and fragile, arching across the sky. And know that you are not just watching it, you are part of its story. Every story has a beginning and every story has an end. For Three-Eye Atlas, its ending was never in question. From the moment it entered our solar system, its fate was already written in the curve of its path. It was never ours to keep. It came to us only for a brief encounter, and then it slipped away again, back into the silence of interstellar space. As it swung around the sun, its speed grew faster than any spacecraft we have ever built. Nothing in our power could catch it, nothing could turn it back. The sun's gravity bent its path, pulled it close, but could not hold it. That is the nature of hyperbolic orbits. Once you pass, you are gone forever. Three-Eye Atlas was a visitor, not a resident, a guest, not a neighbor. And so, after its brief glow, after its fragments began to scatter, the comet moved outward again. Past the orbit of Mars, then beyond Jupiter, then further still. Each step carried it deeper into the cold. Its tail faded, its coma thinned, until the nucleus was dark once more. To most, it became invisible. But invisibility does not mean absence. It was still there, still moving, still carrying its ancient memory into the void. Astronomers tracked its departure as carefully as they had tracked its arrival. Numbers and equations mapped its journey outward, predicting where it would be years, centuries, even millennia from now. They could follow its path mathematically, but they could not follow it physically. No probe, no telescope, no human eye could chase it once it faded. It was like watching a ship vanish over the horizon. You know it sails on, but you can only imagine where it goes. And that imagination is powerful. Where will Three-Eye Atlas drift now? Into the space between stars, where the dark is almost complete. Perhaps in millions of years it will pass near another star, another solar system, and glow again for a brief moment. Perhaps another civilization on another world will see it as their visitor and wonder where it came from. In that sense, Three-Eye Atlas's story is not over. It simply left our chapter to begin another. Its departure is also a mirror for us. We are used to thinking of the universe as permanent, as endless. The stars seem fixed, the planets reliable. But comets like Three-Eye Atlas remind us that so much of what we encounter is temporary. Visitors come and go, beauty appears and fades. The fleetingness is not a flaw, it is the essence of the experience. If Three-Eye Atlas had stayed forever, it would have become ordinary. But because it left, it remains unforgettable. There is a kind of bittersweetness in its leaving. For astronomers, it was a missed opportunity. They could have learned so much more had it lingered. For dreamers, it was a moment lost too soon. And yet, there is grace in that goodbye. Like a passing train you catch only a glimpse of, it leaves you with curiosity, with imagination, with wonder. And so the comet departed, its light swallowed by distance, its fragments dispersing into the night. But the memory of its presence remains. It leaves behind images in archives, data in research papers, stories in the hearts of those who looked up. It leaves behind a reminder that the universe is not static, but alive with travelers. And it leaves us with the quiet knowledge that though it is gone, others will come. As you lie here now, listening to this story, you might feel a trace of that departure inside yourself. The way certain moments in life arrive briefly, change us, and then pass on. The way beauty often exists in passing, not in permanence. In that way, 3i Atlas is not just a comet, it is a teacher. A reminder to cherish what comes even when it does not stay. So let us imagine its final scene. 3i Atlas, once glowing with a delicate tail, now dark again, slipping beyond the edge of our solar system, beyond Saturn, beyond Neptune, past the boundary where the sun's light is weak and the stars begin to take over. Out there, it joins the eternal night. And yet, it carries something with it. A piece of another star's history. A fragment of chemistry older than Earth. A whisper of a world we will never know. Its eventual departure was not an end, but a continuation, a journey we cannot follow but can still honor. And if you close your eyes tonight, you may feel yourself traveling with it, slipping past the planets, past the edges of our world, out into the vastness where silence is complete and time is endless. And in that silence, the comet goes on, as do we, each on our own path, each glowing for a while before fading into the great dark. When we step back from the details, the nucleus, the coma, the tails, the orbit, what remains is a question that has followed humans for as long as we have gazed at the stars. What does it mean? Why do these visitors matter to us? Why do we feel so moved when a fragment of ice from another system drifts by? The broader meaning of 3i Atlas is not only scientific, it is also human, spiritual, even poetic. First, it tells us that the universe is not isolated. For centuries, we imagined solar systems as self-contained, like islands in a vast ocean, each one separate, cut off, complete in itself. But interstellar comets prove otherwise. They are the boats that drift between islands. They show us that the galaxy is not made of isolated parts, but is connected by motion, by exchange, by wandering fragments that carry the stories of one star to another. This connectedness is profound. It means that the dust in our solar system may one day leave and become a comet in another sky. It means that the atoms inside 3i Atlas may once have belonged to a world around another star, broken and scattered, now drifting here. It means that the galaxy is not just a collection of stars, it is a living web with matter and memory moving across its threads. Second, 3i Atlas reminds us of humility. In the face of its journey, millions of years across distances so vast our minds cannot truly grasp them, our lives seem small. The rise and fall of empires, the inventions, the struggles, the celebrations, these are all but moments compared to the comet's exile. And yet, instead of making us feel insignificant, this perspective can be comforting. To know that we are part of something vast and ancient, to know that even as we live our brief lives, the universe continues its endless story, can give us peace. Third, it invites us to imagine. Perhaps life is not unique to Earth. Perhaps comets like 3i Atlas carry the seeds of life, organic molecules, amino acids, frozen and preserved. Perhaps some of those seeds have landed on worlds where they blossomed into oceans, forests, and beings who look up at their own skies with the same wonder we feel now. If that is true, then 3i Atlas is not just a traveler. It is a carrier of possibility, a bridge between worlds. And even if we never find proof of such life, the idea alone expands us. It reminds us that the story of life on Earth may not be a solitary story, It may be part of a chorus, voices rising from many worlds connected by the silent journeys of comets. Finally, the broader meaning lies in beauty. Three-Eye Atlas did not stay. It did not dazzle millions. But in its brief visit, it became a reminder that beauty is not always grand. Sometimes it is quiet, faint, almost hidden. Sometimes it exists only for those who choose to look closely. And isn't that also true of life itself? The beauty of a moment, a relationship, a sunrise. These things are fleeting, fragile, and yet deeply meaningful. So the comet becomes a mirror. It shows us ourselves. Our own journeys, brief against the backdrop of eternity, yet filled with meaning. Our own fragility, our own glowing when touched by light. Our own departures, inevitable but not without legacy. That is the broader meaning of Three-Eye Atlas. Not just a comet, but a reminder of connection, humility, imagination, and beauty. A reminder that we are not alone, that we are part of a galaxy alive with motion, and that sometimes the universe speaks to us not in thunder, but in a faint, fragile glow across the night. And as you breathe deeply now, ready to drift further into rest, let that meaning settle inside you. You are part of this universe. You are stardust like the comet. You are a traveler like the comet. And though your path may be brief, your glow, like Three-Eye Atlas's, matters. And now, as our journey with Three-Eye Atlas draws to a close, let us slow everything down. We have followed it from the shadows of another star system, across the silence of interstellar space, into the glow of our sun, and out again into the dark. We have imagined its structure, its origins, its path, its beauty. We have placed it beside other travelers, and we have listened to the quiet poetry of its visit. And now it fades into distance, just as our story drifts toward its gentle end. What remains is not the comet itself. It is the feeling it leaves behind, the wonder that something so small, so faint, could connect us to the galaxy, the humility of realizing how brief and fragile we are against the backdrop of cosmic time, the comfort that even in the vast dark we are not alone. There are travelers, messengers, reminders that the universe is alive with motion. As you breathe deeply, imagine yourself lying under the night sky. Above you, the stars stretch out, endless and steady. Somewhere among them, perhaps invisible to your eyes, Three-Eye Atlas has already gone. Its tail has faded, its coma has dissolved, but its story lingers. You can almost feel it, like a memory in the air. And as you let that thought rest inside you, remember that you too are made of stardust. The atoms in your body were born in ancient stars, scattered across the galaxy, gathered here to form you. You are not separate from the universe. You are part of its fabric. Just as the comet drifts, so do you. Just as it glows when touched by light, so do you. The broader meaning of Three-Eye Atlas is not only about astronomy, it is about belonging. It whispers that we belong not just to Earth, not just to the Sun, but to the galaxy itself. And perhaps that is the most soothing truth of all. We are home, no matter how vast the universe seems. So let this story fade now like the comet itself. Let the images soften, the dark nucleus, the glowing coma, the silver tail stretching across space. Let them dissolve into quiet. Breathe slowly. Feel the weight of your body sinking into rest. The comet has departed, but you are still here, safe, breathing under the same sky. And perhaps tonight, as you drift into sleep, you will carry with you the dream of traveling alongside it, drifting past stars, sliding into the silence between galaxies, not rushing, not hurrying, just moving gently, endlessly, peacefully. A traveler in the great night, glowing quietly, carrying the memory of home. Sleep now with that thought. Sleep, knowing that the universe is vast, beautiful, and full of stories still to come. Sleep, knowing that you are part of it, always.